Okay, Nazish, please introduce yourself.
Yes, so my name is Nazish Nawaz. I'm from Padarwa. I've had my basic schooling from Doda and also graduated from Government Degree College Doda in 2018. Afterwards, I moved to Jammu to pursue my master's in English literature from the University of Jammu, which I completed in 2020. And ever since then, I've been preparing for this examination. This is my second attempt, and my hobbies are reading fiction and watching documentaries.
Nazish, what is the meaning of this name?
So it is a Persian word which means pride.
Right. Can you tell me what are the pros and cons of having pride as a value?
So if we look at it as a feeling that you get when you or somebody close to you is doing something good, then it has all the positives and pros. Like it can initiate that you are a good human and you feel happiness when others around you do something good, and it also leads you to live a very dignified life, and also that you deserve respect from others as well. Some of the cons can be when it is in excess. In fact, when everything is in excess, it can have bad impacts, and same goes for pride as well. So if it is in excess, I think it can leads towards self-destruction sometimes as well, because it can lead to you having overconfidence and other negative traits like that.
Nazish, tell me one thing that you'd like to change in yourself.
The one thing that I would like to change in myself would be definitely, sir, I have a medical condition. It is called hyperhidrosis, and I'm too conscious about it. Even though I know that this is not something which is my fault, or this is not something which is a hygiene issue or something like that, but I'm still very conscious about it. It affects my quality of life. So I would like to change that in myself, I should say.
So you're from Badarwa. Tell me the main tourist attractions of Badarwa.
So it's a beautiful valley. It has meadows and mountains as well, which are called Dhar in Badarwai. Some of the major tourist attractions, if I have to list, then I would begin with Jai Valley. That is one of the major tourist attractions. We have the Sioj Dhar. Apart from that, we have Padri Dhar as well. There are several religious places as well, which can be massive tourist attractions. Vasuki Nath Temple being the most famous one. Apart from that, sir, we also have the Gatha Lakeview Resort. So these are some of the major tourists.
So is the government tapping on the potential of tourism in Badarwa?
Yes, sir. In the last few years, we have seen that several steps have been taken to augment tourism industry in Badarwa, and that has been faring well for the economy of Badarwa as well.
Can you name some initiatives that have been taken by the government?
So we recently had a yoga event in Jai Valley, which attracted a lot of tourists. Definitely. Apart from them, the lavender cultivation that we have been doing, and the recently held 2-day lavender festival, that was also one of the initiatives which I think brought a lot of limelight to Badarwa and attracted tourists as well. So these are some of the initiatives.
Why is lavender oil so expensive?
Lavender oil so expensive? So it has medicinal uses. Apart from that, it is also massively used in the beauty industry as well. So I believe these are the reasons that it is so expensive.
What sort of medicinal uses does it have?
Um, so I'm not exactly sure of its medicinal uses.
And what are the major problems that the people of Badarwa are facing right now?
So there are many problems. First, I think on the agricultural front, our agricultural practices are still very primitive. It is still very labor intensive. We have not been introduced to the techniques and technologies. Apart from that, the irrigation facilities, we don't have irrigation canals or solid irrigation canals. The agriculture is still rain fed. So that is one of the problems. Second would be on the health front. So we still lack a lot of health facilities. The people still have to move to Jammu or to other or to the or Srinagar to get some of the basic diagnosis done. So which is again one of the major problem. So these are the two major problems that I feel that people in Badarwa are facing.
What are the major environmental challenges that Bhadrava is facing right now?
So as we see that the tourist influx has been increasing, so one of the problems on the environmental front would be the littering that is being caused, there is a lot of garbage everywhere that you see now. So that is one of the major problems. The second is because of the excessive rainfalls that we have seen in this season as well. This is a recent example. So we are seeing a lot of landslides. So that these are the two problems, major environmental problems that I would see.
There,
There is a lot
there
of
was
crop
some.
loss as well because
Okay.
of the rains.
There was there was a news about some communal tensions with the neighboring areas in Bhadrava. Are you aware of that?
No, sir. In fact, to the best of my knowledge, I feel that we've been a very communally stable society, but I'm not aware if there has been a communal tension in the recent.
You mentioned about agriculture being primitive. To tell me, how would you increase the productivity of agriculture given a chance?
So, first thing done is irrigation facilities needs to be corrected. We don't have, as I said, we don't have the irrigation canals. This is just on the tracts which are along the Neeru River, which is the major stream that flows through Badarwa. So, building of canals is one thing that I would say should be done. Second, is to make the farmers aware of the technologies that are being brought up. Third would be to increase their access to good quality seeds or high yielding seeds, because the farmers are majorly poor, so they don't use the high yielding variety of seeds. They use the locally available seeds. So that can be looked after by providing some finances or subsidized seeds to them. And so third would be one of the major problems again is that the land holdings in Badarwa are very small size. So if we can maybe consolidate that, and that would ensure also that the productivity would increase.
We have already come up with good quality, high yielding variety of seeds in the green revolution in India. So, was there any impact of green revolution on the agriculture of Jammu Kashmir?
So there would have been impact, but sir, I'm not aware of it.
What about land reforms that India took over after the independence? How was Jammu Kashmir doing on it?
So I'll have to read on that. Um,
All right, Nazish, what is your family background?
So my father, he is a police personnel, and the if I talk about the designation, he is the sub inspector of police. My mother is a homemaker, and I have two siblings, both younger to me.
All right, what are the challenges faced by Jammu Kashmir police right now? Major challenges.
So, if I have to list, then I would say the biggest challenge is that we have lack of manpower. So, which makes that the people who are working are overburdened and exhausted, I believe. The second would be that we have lack of skilled manpower as well. So, the technology and the digital avenues that are coming up, the I believe the police is not well versed with that. And so third would be also the supply of vehicles is also short, the police vehicles, so which impacts the mobility of the police as well. So these are the three biggest challenges that I feel Jammu Kashmir police is facing right now.
Can you shed some light on how has the bifurcation of Jammu Kashmir and the downgrading of JK from a state to a UT impacted JK police?
So one impact would be that the police came under the direct control of the center. That is one of the impact that I can think of right now. Other than this, sir, I'll have to read more into it.
What are the top three ranks in police?
So, the Inspector General of Police, then there will be the Director General of Police, and then the I believe so. SSP is the Senior Superintendent of Police.
The SSP is at the top or at the bottom of these three?
So at the bottom of the three, it
So
goes on like that.
At the top we have IGP and below it we have DGP.
Yes, sir. So I'll read more on that.
What is your preference, service preference, Nazish?
So first is the administrative services, second police, and then third the account.
Since you already have a police background, you would have realized that the work your father might have been doing in maintaining law and order in the state, in the UT. Why didn't you choose police services as your first preference?
So, although the services, I have a massive regard for the services, but I believe I preferred administration because the administrative services just gives you opportunity to learn about the diverse fields. So it was that diversity that just attracted me more towards the services. Yeah, but with that being said, if I will get police, I think I'll happily accept the services as well.
Recently, JK Police came up with an advisory wherein they said that some international numbers were trying to spread misinformation regarding the G20 meet in Srinagar. Are you aware of that?
No, sir, I'm not aware of the advisory.
all right. What is your optional, Nazish?
So English literature.
Why did you go for literature?
So because I had masters in the same subject, and when I looked at the syllabus, there was a lot of things were the things which I had already read in my masters. So I believe that I would be able to complete the optional subject in around a month or two. That would allow me to focus more on the general study subject, which I believe that I had to really work hard on to understand.
But why did you choose literature in your academics as well?
So, okay. You mean why did I choose it for the masters as well?
Yes.
So literature because I think from my early childhood only I was very fascinated by story and the art of storytelling. So that was one thing. And a second thing, sir, I believe that it gives you different perspectives to look at the problems of the world and understand and enhance your understanding of the underlying social problems as well. So that's why literature.
Who's your favorite poet?
So my favorite poet would be T.S. Eliot.
Why?
So, because the way he has reflected the spirit of his age is commendable, and the identity crisis sometimes which he reflects in his poems is something I believe every individual living in the modern era can resonate with. And I believe that our personal anxieties find expressions in the poems of T.S. Eliot. So that's why so.
Can you name any literary work or an author who would have a lasting impact on the future generation?
So, I believe Elif Shafak's The 40 Rule of Love, The 40 Rules of Love.
Why would you think that?
Um, so first in because I believe that the theme which she has explored in the novel is something which all of us can resonate with, and the way she has the protagonist of the novel just goes around in the world trying to search a meaning for her life, and the way she showcases that it's never too late to explore yourself and try to find a meaning or give a meaning to your life. I think this is something that would have a lasting impact on us as well as on the future generation if they would read the novel.
What is radical feminism?
So, radical feminism, to the best of my knowledge, is an extreme idea of feminism wherein everything that the other sex does is seen as in conflict with the feminist idea or the idea of equality of um, man and women.
Are you a feminist?
So I believe so. Yes, sir.
How would you categorize a person of being as a feminist or not?
So I believe having a respect not only for women but also for men, commanding an equal position for women. And by equal position, we mean a position that we deserve, not as a way of bestowing any favor on us. Any with a perspective like this can be categorized as a feminist.
What do you know about gender equality, and what are the common major concerns that are raised by women in this particular regard?
So, gender equality would be where both men and women are given freedom to express their views and live their life to the fullest, to also realize their full potentials. So, this is gender equality, and the major concerns which are raised by women in terms of this are that we are seeing that culturally as well as socially, politically, economically, in every sphere of life, we are seeing that women are kept out of this sphere of equality. And this is one of the major concerns that women feel is towards gender equality.
Can you tell me the gross enrollment ratio of your district?
So, so I know the literacy rate, but I'm not aware of the gross enrollment ratio.
What is the female literacy rate there?
So the female literacy rate in Doda is around 64%.
And males?
So it would be somewhere around 71%.
Nazish, how would your knowledge of English literature help you in administration?
Um, so I believe the communication skills. First thing is that the communication skills that I've developed while doing my masters in literatures would help me immensely because having soft skills like communication skills is important for an administrator. So second would be the ability to think creatively that has been inculcated in me through my masters in English literature is also going to help me in problem solving and coming up with maybe sometimes creative solutions to the problems. So I believe these are the ways that my masters would help me.
You've been a very good student in your literature, in your PG, in your graduation. But oh, leaving that aside, leaving your interest aside, why would you choose civil services as a career option?
So my aspiration to join the civil services stems from a very deep appreciation for the respectability and the legitimacy the civil services bestows upon an individual. I believe that being a girl coming from a very conservative society wherein women are still deemed fit only for the pink collar jobs, I chose civil services not only to fulfill my dream, but also my aspiration to make a tangible change in this perspective of our society, sir. Apart from that, the financial stability and, of course, the ability of the services to keep your quest alive, your quest for constant learning alive, is what also fascinates me and made me choose civil services as a career option.
Your hobby is reading fiction and watching documentaries. Why fiction?
So, I believe the inexplicable power of fiction to transform you into different worlds and acquaint you with it to the extent that you feel an integral part of it is what fascinates me about fiction. And I firmly believe that a good fictional story has the power to awaken your consciousness and make you look beyond facts and increase your quest for deeper meanings and look for things that are not superficial which thereby enhances your understanding of the underlying problems of the society. So that's why fiction.
Have you read this fiction of Kite Runner?
Yes, sir.
Who wrote it?
Khalid Hosseini.
So, what was the central theme of the book?
So, the book revolves around the conflict that was in Afghanistan, and it also explores several other themes, like betrayal is one of the themes of the book, and there is this concept of male rape, which is a big stigma in the Islamic perspectives, and Khalid Hosseini brought that to light as well, and the exploitation of the conflict in Afghanistan is what the novels revolves around.
What do you know about India's engagement with Taliban?
So I know that at present India is sort of looking for interactions with Taliban because Taliban has established itself as a government now. So it is for India's interest to have interactions with Afghanistan so that the extremism is not promoted and we are at a safe front.
So, has India recognized the government in Afghanistan, the current government?
So I am not aware of that. I'll read into it. But to the best of my knowledge, I believe not yet.
So, should India recognize them?
Yes, sir. I believe it would be in India's favor to recognize Taliban as a government because it would give India's more avenues to put pressure on Afghanistan or the Afghanistani government, the Talibani government, to work as a democratic form of government and look for the human rights violation that Afghanistan is seeing right now.
Because recognizing a government that has not come into power through democratic process, so don't you think that it would be against our constitutional morality?
I believe supporting democratic governments and working for human rights violation or ensuring that we work for human rights is what has been in India's mandate ever since our independence. So I don't think that recognizing Taliban as a democratic form of government would be against constitutional morality because I firmly believe that it would give India more avenues to put pressure on Taliban to work as a democratic form of government and work towards the betterment of the society in Afghanistan.
What is happening in Pakistan right now?
So Pakistan is seeing its worst financial crisis.
What led to this crisis?
So there are several reasons for unfolding of this worst economic crisis. The first would be the political instability that Pakistan has been seeing. Uh, we know that none of its prime minister has been able to complete their entire tenure. First is that on the economic front, the huge external debt has further plummeted their economy into this crisis. That one of the major to get instead of just using it for the betterment of the society in terms of increasing or augmenting the manufacturing sector, they just distributed it as freebies. Just every political power, just to stay in the power, they just distributed it as freebies. Their tax base was also very less, so these are the economic reason that further plummeted their economy towards this crisis. And third, I believe, is the radical and the extremist society of Pakistan, giving less focus to education and other productive sectors. So all of this, an amalgamation of all of this, has led to Pakistan's devastating economy.
Would you like to elaborate on the on this point of Pakistan being a radical society?
So the extremist and the radical nature of Pakistan, as we've been seeing that how there have been several instances where we know that the terrorists they have been a terrorist heathen country. So the fact that they just they just supported it, uh, is what I mean by extremist and radical
So,
society.
Are the people of Pakistan supporting these radical extremist groups or the government of Pakistan?
So, majorly the government of the Pakistan. I would not say that every Pakistani citizen is responsible for it, but of course, some of the people who have been in power are definitely supporting it, and that has led to the downfall.
We've seen that how Osama bin Laden was killed uh, by the US army, and then they got into Pakistan and then just eliminated the target. Don't you think that India should do the same by neutralizing its enemy targets in Pakistan?
So India first, I think India has in its ethics and ethos that we won't attack anybody first, and we won't do that. Uh, but so and India has been taking strict actions for those who have disturbed our peace and who have attacked our sovereignty and integrity. So I think that on in that case we are on a very safe front and we do retaliate when there is a need. But so in ideal situation, I don't feel that we should be going on to do that.
So was the surgical strike carried out by India on Pakistan's soil a retaliatory step, or was it an offensive step?
So it was in retaliation to an attack which was first uh, by this terrorist organization in Pakistan.
You like to watch documentaries. What kind of documentaries?
So I really like participatory documentaries.
What are participatory documentaries?
So, participatory documentaries would be where people and communities, which actually involves people and communities to come and raise their concern and talk about the issues that the documentary features.
Which one is your favorite documentary so far?
So, this would be the recent watch of mine, The Social Dilemma. It is called The Social Dilemma.
Regarding the social media and the impact it has, right?
Yes.
How do you look at social media? Should people, especially civil servants, be active on social media?
Civil servants on social media is not that of a bad idea, but yes, I do believe that there are certain limits and there are certain boundaries that a civil servant should follow when they are showcasing themselves in the public sphere.
What is the impact of social media on the elderly population?
So, if we look at it, there are both positives and negative impacts. The positive being that it has given them a platform to express themselves as well. We have seen several of the retired professors and teachers coming on social media and continuing with their profession. So that is one of the positive impact. The second would be this sort of I would say the fear of missing out that they people have because they don't get the technology that well and they don't know how to use a smartphone. So I feel that somewhere they also feel a little left out. So that is one of the negative impacts on them.
You also worked in an NGO. What was your role in that organization?
So I was one of their volunteers, and because the NGO primarily works for children, so my role in the NGO was to go to orphanages, and whenever I had time, I used to go and teach the students.
What have you give me three key observations that you have made while you were working in that NGO?
So, first in would be a very controlled environment in our orphanages. The students, I feel, the children that are living there, I feel are taught to say thank you on every little thing, and just this massive gratitude, even though gratitude is a very good quality, but this massive gratitude I feel that they have, everything that is given to them, they feel like they feel like they should be thankful for it. And somewhere that just doesn't sit well with me. First is that. Second is that they are lacking a lot of a lot of things. uh, for example, the quality of education is not up to the mark. The food quality is also not up to the mark. The way that the conditions that they are living in, the sanitization conditions, and the places that they sleep in, they're also not very great. So these are some of the observations that.
What would you do to make their lives and make their condition better?
So I believe better funding first, better funding, and regular checking of these orphanages to see that whether they are meeting the sanitation standards. First, and to set a sanitation standard that to provide them at least safe drinking water. And to regularly check the quality of food and also the quantity of the food that they're feeding the children, so that we can keep in check the malnourishment and the talent pool that we have in orphanages. One of the other observations that I've made is that students are very creative there. So to nurture their creative instinct is also something that I would like to do.
What are the constitutional provisions for NGOs?
So NGOs are registered under the three fronts. It is a broad term under which NGOs like trust, society, and companies are registered. Uh, uh, of the constitutional provisions, I'm not exactly aware of. I'll read more into it. I know that these are registered under different acts. For example, the trust is registered under the Public Trust Act. The societies are registered under the Societies Registration Act of 1860, and the Section 8 companies are registered under the Companies Act of 2013.
So NGOs as a subject, is it part of the union list?
So I'm not aware of that. I'll read on it.
What are the issues that are faced by NGOs right now?
So first would be funding. The massive fund crash that the NGOs are facing, which is hampering their work. One is that. Second is proper and proper management. That is also there. That is the second issue. And third is that the regulations, the compliances that have been increased. So that is also hampering the work of NGOs.
Give me two regulations that control the financing of NGOs.
So first is the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and second, so nothing strikes the mind as of now. I just know about the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act.
Nazish, what is your biggest weakness?
So again, I would bring in this my extra consciousness of my hyperhidrosis. I believe is my biggest
Any
weakness.
any anything beyond that?
Anything beyond that is my, I believe, incapacity to manage time. I'm working on that by trying to follow a timetable, and I'm working on my time management skills. So I think lack of time management skills is another weakness that I have.
And what would you consider your biggest strength?
So my biggest strength would be this ability of tenaciousness, the spirit of never giving up is one of my biggest strengths.
Do you think this panel would select you for the job?
So I do want to believe that, and yes, so I do feel that.
Do you want to ask anything from the panel?
No, sir, I have no questions.
Okay, let's conclude the session. Your feedback is really well. As a compliment to you, you don't need my feedback. You
No,
are
sir.
You are a wonderful candidate. I I I was trying to figure out कि कहाँ पर मैं आपकी गलतियाँ निकाल सकता हूँ, but you are one of the brilliant candidates जिनका मैंने इस साल इंटरव्यू किया है.
Thank you so much. I cannot even tell you what it means coming from you. I think
No,
you have made my day. Thank you so much.
You have really been wonderful. I cannot stress on that fact, stress on the thing more than I am that I don't think मैंने इससे इससे अच्छा इंटरव्यू आज अभी तक इस साल किसी का किया होगा. You are a
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
candidate. आपको इंटरव्यू में कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. कहीं पर आपका मुझे कोई इशू नहीं लगा. देर आर सम थिंग्स कि जो आपको कुछ फैक्चुअल चीज़ें पता नहीं थी. वी आर हार्डली बॉदर्ड अबाउट दैट. एज अ पर्सनैलिटी यू आर मेड फॉर दिस.
if
Thank
they
you so
don't
much.
choose you, if they don't choose you, it's not
Not going to be a loss for you. It's the loss for the administration. बाकी आपका कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कहीं पर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है आपका. यू आर अ ब्रिलियंट कैंडिडेट. आपका हर एक कैलकुलेटेड जवाब है आपका. एंड द वे यू से इट, यू हैव राइटली सेड कि आपने कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स बहुत अच्छे डेवलप किए हैं.
Thank you so
और
much, sir.
यू हैव एन लिटरेचर बैकग्राउंड, पर वो आ जाता है एक लिटरेचर वाले स्टूडेंट को थोड़ा वो एक्सेंट एंड ऑल दैट, वो एक लेवल ऑफ चीज़ आ जाती है. बट आई डिड नॉट सी दैट विद यू. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा आपसे बात करके, काफ़ी ज़्यादा अच्छा
Thank
लगा.
you so much, sir. Thank you.
मैं आपने जहाँ जहाँ मुझे लीड किया, आई कुड सी दैट यू हैड वेरी गुड नॉलेज अबाउट दैट. जहाँ भी आप लीड कर रहे थे, यू ऑलरेडी न्यू द स्टफ. नॉलेज आपका बहुत अच्छा है. आपका बैलेंस ऑफ जजमेंट इज़ लाइक ओवर द टॉप. हर एक जगह पर जहाँ पर मैं चाह रहा था कि आपका एक पॉजिटिव ही वाला एंगल दिखे या नेगेटिव ही वाला एंगल दिखे, यू यू हैड अ बैलेंस्ड आंसर फॉर एवरी इम्पैक्ट वाला क्वेश्चन, पॉजिटिव एज वेल एज नेगेटिव, हर एक चीज़ का. बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा. आई हैव नथिंग, आई कैन नॉट गिव यू अ फीडबैक. यू हैव
Thank you
बीन अ
so much, sir.
वंडरफul.
It means a
Yeah,
lot to me.
you are
So,
a wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
thank you so much. So, could I ask you this
yes.
question? So, regarding the factual questions, I couldn't find, as in, I tried to read about the impact on the police when I was doing my research on the police problems and the impact of the bifurcation. Could you suggest me some site or something where I can read it from?
You what you have to do is go to जीके का जो वेबसाइट है. देन सिंपली उनका जो सर्च का ऑप्शन आता है, वहाँ पर जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस सर्च कर लो आप. तो यू विल गेट अ लॉट ऑफ आर्टिकल्स रिगार्डिंग जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस. जस्ट गो थ्रू 20-30 आर्टिकल्स, वहाँ पर आपको मिल जाएगा इशू जो
Okay,
भी.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. So just that. So apart from that, when it comes to political questions, do I need to do anything about that?
I,
Any
don't- I,
suggestion?
I don't think you need any suggestion from me.
मुझे कुछ नहीं बोलना है आपको. यू आर अ वंडरफुल कैंडिडेट. आपका रेंज, अगर आपका मेंस अच्छा गया है, नथिंग इज स्टॉपिंग यू फ्रॉम क्वालिफाइंग दिस एग्जाम दिस ईयर. आपका एक पहला इंटरव्यू है.
Yes, sir. This is my first interview.
अटेम्प्ट कौन सा है आपका?
So this is my second attempt. Last time I couldn't get through mains.
Okay.
आई बिलीव अगर मेंस अच्छा गया है, यू आर इन द लिस्ट.
So my mains was good. Especially my optional was very good this time.
जीएस कैसा गया, ऐसे कैसा गया?
So essay was good. 4 was also good. 3 was also good. 1 I couldn't complete the entire paper, but the quality of the answer I feel, as per my knowledge, has been good. 2 was also good. Even though again I couldn't attempt the entire paper, I left one question in GS2 and one question in GS1. 3, 4 rest all my papers were fully attempted, and I am satisfied with the quality of the answers as well.
There was just one question that I asked you was regarding the major challenges that Jammu Kashmir police are facing. आपने challenges जो बताए, that is fine. Lack of manpower, lack of skills, and supply of vehicles. You did not give me a challenge related to their function, like law and order का क्या challenge है, security का क्या challenge है. वो एक चीज़ miss हो गया उधर. But still, I not concerned about that. आपका बहुत अच्छा इंटरव्यू किया है. आपका इंटरव्यू वहाँ भी बहुत अच्छा जाएगा. यू डोंट नीड टू वरी अबाउट इट. यू आर अ वंडरफुल कैंडिडेट एंड कीप ऑन स्माइलिंग. आपका स्माइल से एक बहुत पॉजिटिवनेस आ जाती है. I believe
Thank you
कि
so much, sir.
you have a high chance of qualifying the exam this year.
Thank you so much, sir. So I wanted to sit for a physical interview with Quintessence as well. So my interview is on 31st of July. Is it possible if I sit, let's say, on 29th or 30?
Actually, the panel that we have already done interviews for two times. Like, it will not be very difficult for me to get the panel again for one candidate because हमने already लगभग 60-70 बच्चों का कर लिया ऑफलाइन में भी, तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा एक बच्चे के लिए पैनल उठाना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. बट वी कैन डू वन थिंग. वी कैन वी कैन आई कैन गेट इन माई फैकल्टी. उनके साथ आप कर सकते हैं.
Yes, sir, that would be great.
ठीक है. व्हेन आर यू कमिंग हियर?
So I'll be coming on 28th.
20th you're coming. Are there arrangements done for you here?
Yes, sir. I'll be coming with my family and staying with my brother.
All right. If you need any help, I'm here in Srinagar only. You can just contact me. Okay. और रहा सवाल इंटरव्यू का, we'll do that some few days before your interview. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All
It has
the
been such a
all
nice
the
experience.
Although you're the only candidate जिनको मैंने आज तक कोई feedback नहीं दिया है.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. It
all
means
the
so much to me. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.